October 2007. St. Peter's Basilica in the Vatican is packed with worshippers and music lovers for a performance of the Missa Solemnis Tu es Petrus. It's Germany's gift to the Pope from Germany for his 80th birthday. 250 students from Humboldt University in Berlin have come here to sing and play the Mass. A midday service at the Kaiser Wilhelm Memorial Church in Western Berlin in February 2007. Wolfgang Seifen is head organist here and a professor of organ performance and improvisation at the Berlin University of the Arts. His peers call him a virtuoso, and young musicians come from all over the world to study under him. His style is modern, with echoes of past eras in music history. His biggest project to date has been composing this Mass as a birthday gift for His Holiness the Pope.
To devout Catholics, of course, he's the head of the Church and the successor to St. Peter. This calling does not come from humans, but from God. This is something very special, and it has an effect on the work. A theme you can hear running all through the composition is the old hymn, Tu es Petrus et super hanc Petram.
The title of the Mass, Tu es Petrus, You are Peter the Rock, is taken from the New Testament. A commission like this has nothing whatsoever to do with tradition. It's the first full Mass to be dedicated to a pope in some 500 years. Rehearsals are just beginning. 23-year-old Anna Neidl is studying medicine at the Charité Medical School. She's sung soprano in the Humboldt University Choir for many years now and will be taking part in the premiere of the new Mass.
Just to see the Pope. Right now I can't even imagine that. He's so distant a figure. Even so, I can't wait to see what he's like in reality, or even if we'll see all that much of him at all. If he'll say anything to us, or if he'll just sit there and we'll sing for him.
First, the melodies for the different voices are rehearsed separately. A world premiere means real pressure for any musician. Everything is being done for the first time, and the sheet music hasn't even been finished yet. The choir can only practice what's been printed. Today, it's the credo. To complicate matters, Wolfgang Seifen's music is very demanding.
In a nutshell, it's hard, it's high, and it's completely new.
After the break, the sopranos, altos and basses are brought together. It's the first time the whole choir has sung the Mass together.
The very first time.
Never before has anyone ever heard this piece. Let's correct a few printing errors here. The first really big one is in the soprano parts. The first notes you see there are wrong, of course. They slipped up from the alto parts, so just cross them out completely.
Und müssen insofern ersatzlos gestrichen werden.
This is the first time we've put the credo together. It was pretty chaotic, of course, but we're gradually getting it together, a little. At least you can tell what's behind it.
As
the conductor of a university choir, I don't often have the honor of rehearsing a Mass for the Pope. After discussing it briefly with the choir and the orchestra, I decided to go for it. It's not often you have the opportunity of putting on a world premiere. That means rehearsing a piece there are absolutely no recordings of, since it's never been performed. And besides, you probably get one chance in a lifetime to conduct in St. Peter's Basilica, and that's quite an incentive.
In March 2007, the first orchestral scores are finished. The orchestra can finally begin rehearsals. The classical Missa Solemnis has 5 movements: the Kyrie, the Credo, the Sanctus, the Benedictus and Agnus Dei. Just as with the choir, the orchestra sections have to rehearse separately before they can put it all together. At 7 p.m, the university music director, Konstantin Alex, rehearses the Credo with the woodwinds.
I've spent the past several days searching intensively for the false notes, from morning till late at night, and correcting them. You can't imagine what an endless task that is. I found quite a few, but not all of them yet, of course.
While the woodwinds rehearse in Humboldt University's choir hall, the brasses rehearse in its soundproofed library. They have to pay special attention to timing. On the top floor, in the Fritz-Reuter Saal, the first violins are searching for the right tonalities.
Wunderbar. Also Kompliment.
And right next door, the double basses are resonating all through the room. After the break, the musicians move on to the tutti rehearsal. Tutti is Italian for all together. The students come from almost any field except music. Professionals can rely on a certain routine, but amateurs are carried only by their own dedication and enthusiasm.
In the beginning, it's all over the place. You try to get some structure into it somehow and get an idea of what's there and how it has to be played, so you have a very rough initial concept. We've still got a long way to go, but even so, I'm glad the Credo, at least, is taking on a recognizable shape.
Now it's 7 weeks before the premiere. The 2 professors meet in Konstantin Alex's office and talk over corrections to the score.
I know how it should sound. I hope you're not on the verge of despair just yet.
I am. Every time I open the score, I make even more red marks on it. This time it's green because I want it to be different from the red version from last time.
So you can tell them apart.
It's all wrong.
They have a lot to work out. While rehearsing the choir and orchestra, Konstantin Alex keeps stumbling over false notes. He passes the information on to the composer.
Blechbläser sind dann eigentlich... Das habe ich auch. Also, hör mal. Das Stück ist von mir. Guck mal, einmal in der Woche sind wir doch zusammen.
We've been getting together once a week as arranged, and we badly need it too.
Festgelegt und das haben wir bitter nötig.
We've had lots of correcting to do. The piece is in the editing phase now, which means the typesetters are busy trying to decipher my wonderful, virtually indecipherable handwritten notation, and we have to proofread it for mistakes and correct them.
Und dann müssen wir das halt
We catch most of them, but we're still finding errors from time to time.
Wir finden nämlich immer wieder Fehler. Das
Now there are just 6 weeks left till the premiere. The choir conductor and the composer have flown down to Regensburg in Bavaria for a day. Wolfgang Seifen went to school in Regensburg and sang in the world-famous boys' cathedral choir there. His music teacher was none other than Georg Ratzinger, the brother of the Pope and the cathedral's director of music. Ratzinger is delighted to see his former pupil back again. He recalls Seifen as a boy.
I remember him as a little guy. Now he's a mature, grown man, a great artist. But he used to be a really nice, friendly little guy. He always had a good sense of humor, and he was in a good mood. I was always happy to see him.
Georg and his brother have always been very close to one another. Did the Pope already know what his birthday present was going to be?
I'll remember the 10th of October. I hadn't quite realized that it was meant to be his birthday present. In the history of the Holy See, the popes have received lots of honors. But it's rare that a composition of such quality and importance is dedicated to the Pope. I think he'll be very pleased.
Now it's only 5 weeks till the premiere in Berlin. The choir is rehearsing at full speed. Before the singers warm up their voices, they have to warm up their bodies.
Wir starten einen ganz langsamen Dauerlauf.
Wolfgang Seifen pays a surprise visit.
Ja, also jetzt kommt ja die Gesamtprobe.
Now we'll be rehearsing all together. Once we've rehearsed the different voices separately, we can hear the piece called the Agnus Dei, sung by the entire choir. I can't wait to hear how it turns out. I'll be hearing it today for the first time, and that'll be quite an experience.
Zum ersten Mal und es wird sicherlich ein großes Erlebnis.
Und eins.
For the singers, Wolfgang Seifen's music is a challenge. They have to memorize all the half-tone steps and complicated sequences.
Ja, diese Zahlen von 1 bis 10, das ist schon so eine Sache.
Wolfgang Seifen was in the rehearsal today, and that was pretty odd because you're a lot more tense. You think, oh my lord, what's he thinking? Are we at least hitting the right notes, more or less?
Of course, it's a work in progress. There are still mistakes and other things that have to be corrected, but that's all part of the special excitement. That something you've dreamt up and put to paper without any kind of instruments to help out is now gradually becoming a reality. And that's a great feeling.
Information on the trip to the Vatican has been posted. Anyone who wants to go can sign up. It's Sunday, April the 16th. The day of the world premiere at St. Hedwig's Cathedral has arrived.
We've done good work, and now there's nothing more we can do, so I'm glad it's going on now.
Es ist gut, dass es losgeht.
Chancellor Angela Merkel arrives at 5 to 10, just before Mass begins. It's to be broadcast live on radio.
Now we're getting down to business. We have to insert the whole thing into the liturgy. And I'm sure it'll be very exciting, but in a positive way.
The Archbishop of Cologne, Cardinal Meissner, is the main celebrant. He's the patron of the new High Mass and a long-time friend of the Pope.
Dear sisters, dear brothers, it has been given to Pope Benedict XVI that he bring the message of the Gospels that redeems all people in all its beauty, its fascination, and harmony, so that we may call him the Mozart among theologians.
It's a musical labor of love for a music-loving Pope. The final note of a beautiful performance. This Missa Solemnis was truly a spiritual experience.
Alles gegeben.
I must say I was very impressed by it, and by the performers as well, by the chorus and the orchestra, who have to identify with the material and the words to some degree. And that in itself is a form of evangelism.
Today we had the premiere. We've achieved our first major goal. Now we're aiming for Rome next October. That's what we're all excited about now, and what we're all looking forward to very, very much.
Now it's October. Half a year has passed since the premiere in Berlin. The students have assembled at Tegel Airport to catch their flight to Rome.
The time has finally come. This evening we'll be landing in Rome. The Mass is tomorrow morning. I guess we're starting to get a bit excited.
Airlifting 250 students is a feat of logistics in itself. They fly in groups on 8 different planes. There's no time even to check into their hotel when they arrive in Rome. Buses are ready and waiting at Fiumicino Airport to take the singers straight to the Vatican for their dress rehearsal. It's rare for a relatively unknown choir to have an opportunity to perform in St. Peter's. The Missa Solemnis is on the programme of the Festival Internazionale di Musica e Arte Sacra, the International Festival of Sacred Music and Arts. In 2006, the Vienna Philharmonic gave the opening concert. In 2007, it's the students from Berlin. They have just 2 hours to rehearse in St. Peter's Basilica. Konstantin Alex tries to save time by checking the acoustics during the rehearsal itself. It's not often that a visitor gets to see the nave of St. Peter's completely devoid of people.
The choir has to remember, the better you memorize it, the better you'll sing it. All the more expressive and clear and true it will come across. But I'm sure it'll all come together tomorrow. The bus leaves the hotel tomorrow at 3 p.m. to bring you here. And then you come the same way.
Heaven doesn't wait, nor does St. Peter's. The rehearsal is over at 9 p.m., ready or not.
It's all very hectic, as always in Poland or Italy. Everything has to work at the very last second. We've been going at full tilt, sometimes doing things even on the fly. But the rehearsal went surprisingly well. That's because we have a pretty good grasp of the piece by now. So we can all relax and look forward to tomorrow.
I feel pretty euphoric, I have to admit. What adds to it all is the incredible spirituality of this space. To make music here, and the whole time you're aware that millennia of history are connected with this cathedral, that gives you a feeling that you don't get in any other church.
Wednesday, 7:45 a.m. It's a moment the students and their professors have been waiting for. They're to have an audience with the Pope. Now, thousands of people fill St. Peter's Square. Cardinal Meissner, the patron of the Mass, has also arrived at the Vatican.
The score is to be presented by the composer himself, but I will introduce him to the Holy Father, who is already informed about what he is to receive. I accepted the initial gift in his stead in the church in Berlin, where I first served as bishop. And I'm looking forward to the Mass Tu es Petrus here in the Basilica today.
At 10 a.m. they make their final preparations. The Pope will be arriving soon. The students from Germany are in the first row. Security for the Pope is tight today. There was a bomb threat, but it hasn't yet been made public. Pope Benedict greets his countrymen.
I
am pleased to welcome all pilgrims and visitors who are native German speakers, the young musicians from Humboldt University in Berlin, as well as their guests and supporters, who have come to Rome for the performance of the Tu es Petrus Mass.
Afterwards, he greets the composer personally.
I saw it all, the arrival of the Pope and of course the personal welcome. It was all very impressive. He knew my name right away and he knew everything about my career. His brother had told him all about me. That was very nice, of course. I was able to speak to him right away about the score, and he asked me if all the notes were my own. I told him truthfully that it was all my music, this enormous work, and he was very pleased with the composition.
It was incredible. I never would have dreamt that so many people would come and that everyone would be greeted and blessed in their own language. I'd imagined it quite differently.
Das habe ich mir einfach ganz anders vorgestellt.
It's 10 to 5, shortly before the opening notes of the Mass in the Basilica. The musicians are a bit nervous. Monsignor Angelo Camastri is the Vicar General to His Holiness and the manager of St. Peter's Basilica. He will celebrate the Mass. There are no concerts in St. Peter's without a service. It's a magical moment for the musicians from Berlin. They play the Tu es Petrus Mass, written for the Pope, right above the place where St. Peter himself is said to be buried. The Mass lasts about 2 hours. At the end of the service, the faithful receive communion.
This has been a good day for Rome and a good day for us, one which we can certainly call a success. And it was definitely the climax of all the work we've done up to now.
Es war unglaublich, es ist eine tolle
It was
Akustik
unbelievable. The
hier.
acoustics here are fantastic, and it was just so much fun with everything that happened. A lovely experience.
It was simply wonderful, just to know that the big moment has arrived, the moment we've been working toward all this time. That helped to push the people who were playing and singing here to new heights, myself included. So at the end of the day, it couldn't have been better.
Ja, besser hätte es eigentlich nicht laufen können.